Yes.
Thank you. A very good evening to all of you. So students, today we are going to analyze about the paper which was done by you today, Science 1, Prelims 2. So let's start with our session. I'm Priyanka Raghunath Sapkar from Goregaon MPS Municipal Secondary School East, BMC Education Department. As you know, that in the paper, first of all you get the notice. Okay, so the notice is all the questions are compulsory. Then draw neat and label diagram whenever it is required. Then each of the main questions to be right on separate page. Then the right side numbers indicate the marks. Okay, so you can draw a line for writing the marks on the right hand side, and on the left hand side you are writing the question numbers. On the left hand side you are writing the question numbers, and on the right hand side you are writing the so whoever will check your paper, he or she will write the marks. Then for each multiple choice question, first A, the assignment will be made on the first attempt only. So for each multiple answer question, so write any option number is, for example, for first A, in Roman 1 an option. Likewise, you have to write the answer. So now let's start with our topic. So in a question paper today, the first question was choose the correct alternative. Okay, and it was for 5 marks. So here, that means here 5 questions will be there, 5 MCQs will be there, and each will carry 1 mark. So the first one was the number of electrons in the outermost shell of the alkali metal is. Now students, as you know that alkali metals is present in group 1. Okay, and in group 1 the first vertical group it consists of alkali metals, and the second vertical group it consists of alkaline earth metals. Now on the upper side always there is written in Roman numbers 1, 2 likewise. So that number indicates the number of electrons which is present in the outermost shell. Now here in this case the first group elements, they all contain the same number of electrons in the outermost shell of the alkali metals. So as they contain same number of electrons, so here in this case they also contain same number of valency. So here in this case they all contain only 1 electron in the outermost shell. Hence the number of electrons in the outermost shell of an alkali metals in the group, it consists of only 1 electron in the outermost shell. So here the answer will be 1. Then comes the second one, reaction of iron nails with copper sulfate solution is. Now students, iron is Fe, and with copper sulfate solution, that is CuSO4. Now here in this case, iron, that is one element when it reacts with a compound, and from compound whenever one element is replaced, then that reaction is known as the displacement reaction or replacement reaction also you can call it.
Miss, your voice is not clear.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, nobody is able to listen to me.
No, ma'am.
Can't hear you. Audible?
Yes,
Your
ma'am.
voice is not audible.
Okay, just wait a minute. You hear me now?
Yes, miss.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You were not able to hear a single word from me.
No, we
Up till whatever I said.
No, ma'am.
Okay.
Now it is clear, ma'am.
So can I start from first question? Or should I continue with whatever question I was taking? Hello? Okay, once again I will tell you what you mean by the answer of the first question. Those who were not able to, we are talking about also contain the same number of valency. Then comes next, the reaction of iron nails with copper sulfate solution is the dash reaction. Now here in this case you can see that iron that means Fe. Now when Fe react with CuSO4, now Fe, this is an element and CuSO4 is a compound. Now here in this case, what will happen? Fe will replace the Cu. So here in this case, whenever it will replace it, one element replaces the element from a compound. So that particular reaction is known as the replacement reaction, or you can also call it as a displacement reaction. Because here displacement of Cu, that is copper, takes place, and in place of copper, Fe is replaced. So here in this case, this reaction will be the displacement reaction. Then comes the volume of water while melting the ice. Now students, here the correct answer will be, it will decrease. Now why it will decrease? Because when ice melts, it converts to water, as you already know. So then the density of ice is less than that of water. So the volume will decrease. The volume of water while melting the ice. Now here in this case, the correct answer is volume decreases. So when ice melts, it converts to water and the density of ice is less than that of water. So the volume will decrease. Then comes the change. Now the change in dash of light rays from one medium to another is called as refraction. Now as you know, what is the definition of refraction here? The definition of refraction is the change in the direction. Now as you know that whenever the light passes from one medium to the another medium, then what happens? Now the light rays, it changes its direction from one medium to the another medium, that is from rarer to denser or from denser to rarer. So in that case, this change in direction of light rays, you can call it as an refraction here. So here in this case, the answer will be the direction. Then comes the refractive index. It depends on dash of light. Now as you know the formula, the refractive index, it depends upon the velocity of light. So here in this case, the answer will be the velocity. So the refractive index, it depends upon the velocity of the light. Okay. Then comes the next question. Solve the following questions. Now here in this case, each question carries 1 mark. So it is for 5 marks each. Now here it is for 5 marks and each question carries 1 marks. So the following state whether the following statement is true or false. Now the question is given to you, the weight is a vector quantity. Okay. So here in this case, weight, it has both the magnitude and direction. So whenever any component is having a magnitude and a direction, in that case we called it as the component contains the vector quantity. So here in this case, the weight is a vector quantity and hence it is true because it has both the magnitude and direction. Then comes one reaction is given to you in the second question. CaCO3 in solid state when reacts with NaOH, it gives Na2CO3 CaOH by 2. Now here in this case, as you know that from the lesson of the chemical reaction, we studied about the different types of reactions. Now in that, whenever two compounds will react with each other, now here in this case, CaCO3 and NaOH, these are the two compounds. When they react with each other and when they will replace the elements from each other and two elements will be replaced, in that case, the reaction will be the double displacement reaction. Now the displacement reactions are of two types. One is single displacement, another is the double displacement. So one of the example we have already seen from the first question, that is when Fe reacts with CuSO4. In that case, only one element is replaced. So hence we called it as an displacement reaction. But here in this case, two compounds are present and two elements are replaced here. So in that case, as two elements are replaced, hence the reaction name will be double displacement reaction. Then comes, write the type of the above reaction. So that is the double displacement reaction. Then comes identify the odd term. So here melting point is given to you, insulation material is given to you. rubber socks are given to you, generators are given to you. Now here in this case, which one will be the odd one? Now the generator, it stands for the rest. Why? Because melting points, it is related with the heat. Insulating materials and rubber socks also related with the same. But here generator is a machine, so here we will take this term as an odd term. So here generator will be the answer. Then comes answer the following question based on the following figure. So here in this case, you can see this figure. Now from this figure, you can get an idea that what kind of visual impairment this is. Now in your textbook, as you have already seen two types of diagrams like this, where the images one form before the retina and another forms behind the retina. So here in this case, the images will form behind the retina. Here, as you can see in this diagram, so this visual impairment is for the hypermetropia, or you can also call it as farsightedness. Okay. So here in this case, the person can see the far objects, the far side. He is having the far-sightedness, so he can see the objects which are present to a distinct distance, but he cannot see the nearby objects. So here in this case, the name will be the hypermetropia or farsightedness. So then comes where images are formed in this visual impairment. So images are formed behind the retina. Okay. So here you can see that the images, you can see the rays which are going behind the retina here. So here in this case, the images are formed behind the retina. Then comes the benzene formation formula. Now here in this case, benzene is an important organic chemical compound with the chemical formula C6H6, and its molecule is composed of 6 carbon atoms joined in a ring with 1 hydrogen atom attached to each carbon atom. So here you can see the diagram here. Now for benzene, the formula is C6H6. That means 6 carbon will be present. So here the first structure, it shows the number of carbons which are present on the edges of the hexagon, and after that alternative carbons, they are having a double bond, and each carbon is attached to 1 hydrogen. Now as you know that carbon is having the valency 4. So here in this case, it will form 4 bonds with itself. Okay. So here in this case, it will form 4 bonds. So here you can see that carbon, in the first carbon, you can see here carbon is having the 4 bonds each. Two from double bond, one with hydrogen and another with another carbon. So likewise, the structure, it continues. So here the example will be C6H6. Here you can see 3 types of diagrams. In any of the way you can draw the diagram. Then comes the give scientific reasons. Any 2 you have to solve. 3 will be given to you and any 2 you have to solve it. So the elements belonging to same group have same valency. Okay, so this is the given, this will be given to you, and hence in this case, you have to write the scientific reason for that. Now elements belonging to same group have same valency. Now here, the valency of an element is determined by the number of valence electrons in the outermost shell of an atom. Okay, so here the number of an element, now here, as you know that the first group element, as we have already seen in the MCQ, first group element, they contain same number of valence electron. Okay, and same number of electrons present in the outermost shell. Whenever same number of electrons are present in the outermost shell, so naturally same number of valence electron will be also present. So here in this case, the valency of an element is determined by the number of valence electrons in the outermost shell of an atom of that particular element. So here all the elements in a group have the same number of valence electron. You can take any group 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever group if you will take. So all the group it will contain the same number of valence electron. Why? Because or the group, it contains same number of electrons in the outermost shell, and hence they will have same number of valence electrons. So here all the elements in the group have the same number of valence electrons, therefore the elements in the same group should have the same valency. Okay, so for example, the elements of group 1, it will contain one valence electron. The valency of the element of group 1 is 1. Similarly, for group 2, the valency will be 2. For group 3, it will 3. So likewise, it will continue. So here in this case, so whatever will be the group which is present, or the if one single group is present, in that group particular 5 to 10 if elements are present, so all those elements will contain same number of outermost electrons, and hence their valency will also be same. Then comes the next scientific reason you have to give for the sodium metal is always kept in kerosene. Now students, here in this case, sodium is highly reactive metal. So here and it reacts vigorously with oxygen, carbon dioxide and moisture present in the air, so such that it may even cause fire. Now as you know that sodium, if you will touch by your naked hands without wearing any gloves, then in that case your hand will also be burned if you will touch like that only sodium. It is so much highly reactive. Sodium, potassium, these two metals are highly reactive, so you can't keep it as it is in the atmosphere. Okay, because atmosphere contains oxygen, then carbon dioxide, then the water molecules are also present, as we are talking about the moisture in the atmosphere. So all these things, they react with sodium and make it explosive. So here in this case, to prevent this explosive reaction, what we do, we keep the sodium in the kerosene. So here sodium, it is highly reactive metal and it reacts vigorously with the oxygen, carbon dioxide and moisture it is present in the air, such that it may even cause a fire. So to prevent this explosive reaction, sodium is kept immersed in kerosene because sodium does not react with kerosene. I hope this give reason is understood by you. Next one is carbon forms infinite number of compounds. Now student, as we know that carbon is a versatile element. Okay, so it forms infinite number of compounds with many elements. Okay, with itself also, it can form a long carbon chain also. Now why this happens? So we have to give the reason behind it. So carbon forms large number of compounds as it has the following three properties. Now which one? It has a valency of 4, so can make bonds with large number of atoms. Now as you know that carbon is having the valency 4, that means it contains 4 electrons in its outermost shell. Now what carbon will do to fulfill its shells by electrons? It will react either with 4 other elements, or it will share electrons with that element which will give carbon 4 electrons. So here in this case, as carbon is having the valency 4, so what it will do? It will form 4 bonds with the another element. So here it has a valency of 4, so can make bonds with large number of atoms. So here it has a small nucleus as it has only 6 protons and 6 neutrons, and hence attract more electrons easily. Now as you know that what do you mean by the atomic number? Atomic number means the number of electrons or the number of protons, that is known as the atomic number. And what do you mean by the atomic mass number? Now the mass of any element, it depends upon the nucleus. Now here in this case, in the nucleus, what is present? In nucleus present protons and nucleons. So here in this case, as carbon contains 6 electrons, so whatever number of electron will be there, that number of proton will be present in the nucleus. So it has a small nucleus and it has only 6 protons and 6 neutrons, and hence it attracts more electrons easily. And last is the most important property of carbon, that is catenation, which means it has the capability to form large number of bonds. Okay, so it can form large number of bonds. So that's why it can form infinite number of compounds with the elements, with the carbon itself and with the other elements also. As you know, the example of alkane, alkene, alkyne, and different types of carbon chains can also form. Many compounds can form with the carbon. So that's why carbon is known as the versatile element. It forms not only compound with carbon itself, but also with the another element. Next comes solve the following question. Any three you have to solve. Okay, so now here in this case, any three questions you have to solve. So if a person's weight on the earth is 750 Newton, okay, then what will be his weight on moon, and how will the moon gravitational force is 1 by 81 of earth's gravitational force, and radius of the moon is 1 upon 3.7 times that of earth. Now here in this case, what is given to you? First we will see that. Now here weight on earth is given to you, person's weight on earth, which is 750 Newton. Okay. Now here weight is equal to mg, as we all know. So now if weight equals to mg, then what we will do? Mg equals to 720, weight equals to 750 Newton. So weight will be equal to mg, that is equal to 750. Now we will this shift that small g to the right hand side, then it will be then the formula will be m equal to 750 upon g. Now small g, the formula for small g is G capital M upon R square on earth. Okay, it is on earth. And the mass of moon we can consider as, here it is given the mass on the moon, that is M upon 81, and the radius of the moon is given, that is Rm, that will be R upon 3.7. Okay, so here in this case, the small g value in the moon, that we will consider capital G into mass on the moon upon radius on the moon. Okay, so here in this case it will be 0.169, that is gm upon r square. So here gm will be also equal to 0.169. So the weight on the moon will be mg. Okay, so here in this case mass is given to you, so mass will be 250 upon g multiplied by 0.169 grams. So here the answer will be 126.759 Newton. This example is from the solved example, which is given in your textbook from first chapter. So you can also go through it. Next comes, at which position will you keep an object in front of a convex lens so as to get a real image of the same size as the object? So here in this case, you have to draw the figure. Now here convex lens, as you know, convex lens is placed. The middle line which is going through the convex lens, it is known as the principal axis. Now on principal axis, in front of the convex lens, we will place the object, and after placing it, what we will do? Two rays will be given out from that particular object, and when they will intersect at one particular point behind the convex lens, there the image will be formed. So here AB is the object and A dash B dash will be the image. Now AB, here from here the distance between the optical center O and B, AB, object AB will be, here in this case that will be the particular distance. So here in the mid of that particular distance, F1 is present. Now F1 and F2, these are the principal focus. Okay, and small f will be the focal length. You can see here small f is given to you from F2 to O optical center to principal focus behind the convex lens. The it is given as f, that is the focal length. Then AB is the object, A dash B dash is the image, and U is the object distance, and V will be the image distance. So here below you can see from optical center to the till the object. Here U is given, which is the object distance, and from optical center towards the image, it is given V, and it is denoted by image distance. So likewise, you have to draw the figure. Next comes observe the following figure and answer the given question. Now here from this figure is from your textbook only. So you can see weights are given to each end of a thread, and ice is placed over a table. Now what will happen as it will go down? The ice will melt and the thread will move downwards. So what kind of which attribute study form does it? So this is a regulation process. As you can see from your textbook, it is a regulation process. Then how you will define this property? So write the definition of that property. So regulation is defined as the phenomenon in which the ice melts to the water below 0 degree centigrade on application of pressure and refreezes back to ice on the removal of the pressure. So because of the pressure, ice will melt. Because of the pressure here, ice will melt, and after melting, what will happen? It will again gain back its original position. So here in this case, regulation is what? Regulation is defined as, here in this case, it is defined as that the phenomenon in which the ice melts to the water below 0 degree centigrade on the application of pressure, and it refreezes back to the ice on the removal of pressure. So students, it is observed that the wire gradually penetrates the ice slab. As you can see here, wire, it penetrates the ice slab. So after some time, the wire will come out of the lower surface of the ice slab. So however, the ice slab does not break. So this phenomenon is known as the regulation. So the melting point of ice becomes lower than 0 degree centigrade because of the pressure which is applied. So this means that at 0 degree centigrade, the ice gets converted into water. So as soon as the pressure is removed, the melting point is restored to 0 degree centigrade and water gets converted into the ice again. Okay. Next question is write the following IUPAC names of hydrocarbons. Now students, IUPAC name, as I already taken the session on that, so we will go through the rules which was given. So first of all, you can see how many number of carbons are present. 4 carbons are present. Now when 4 carbons are present, in that case, here the root word will be the but, B-U-T. Okay. Now each carbon, they contain a single bond. So as they contain a single bond, so what name will be there? That particular suffix will come from alkane. Alkane contains single bond. So from alkane, we will take the suffix ane. So here in this case, the name will be butane. Then comes the next one, CH3, CH2, NH2. Okay. Now here, how many number of carbons are present? 2 carbons are present. So the root word will be the eth. Then from the second carbon, now here you can see CH2 is given to you. So here one hydrogen is removed and it is replaced by NH2. That is the amine group. So here the name will be ethyl. Whenever one hydrogen is removed from a carbon, the name will become from alkane to alkyl. So here in this case, ethyl amine will be there. Name. So you can see the IUPAC name of both of them, butane and ethyl amine. Okay. Next comes why it is beneficial to use the satellite launch vehicles made of more than one stage. Okay. Now here in this case, why it is useful. So we will study it. The major portion of the weight in satellite launch vehicles is contributed by the fuel, as we already know. So to overcome this problem of launch vehicles carrying heavy load during its entire journey, so it is provided with more than one stage. Okay, because to this, the weight of the vehicle can be reduced step by step after its launching. So as you can see, as you already know, if you have seen uh, in a news channel or anywhere, that whenever rocket is launched, as it goes up, so in that case, one stage it gets detached. Okay, so why it gets detached? To reduce the weight. So here we will see it thoroughly. And earlier satellite launch vehicles, that is SLV, used to be of a single stage vehicle. So such SLVs used to be very heavy as well as expensive in terms of its fuel consumption. So as a result, SLV with multiple stages were developed. So in multiple stage, SLV, as the journey of a launch vehicle progresses and the vehicle achieves a specific velocity. So here, and a certain height, the vehicle of the first stage is exhausted and the empty fuel tank gets detached from the main body of the launch vehicle. So here, and falls back into a sea or on unpopulated land. So as the fuel in the first stage is exhausted, the engine in the second stage, it is ignited. So however, the weight of the launch vehicle is now less than what it was earlier, and hence it can move with higher velocity. So thus it saves fuel consumption, and hence it is beneficial to use a multi-stage satellite launch vehicle. So here students, uh, if you didn't understand, I can make you understand one more time. So here in this case, now earlier the satellite launch vehicle, that is the SLV, the long form of this SLV is satellite launch vehicle, used to be of a single stage vehicle. So such SLVs used to be very heavy. Okay, and it was expensive also in terms of the fuel consumption. So what they decided, as a result, SLV with multiple stages, it was developed. Okay, so it was, as it was heavy and very expensive in terms of the fuel consumption, so they develop a multiple stages to reduce the amount of money which is required. Then in multiple stage SLV, as the journey of a launch vehicle progresses and the vehicle achieves a specific velocity and a certain height, the fuel of the first tank, it gets exhausted and the empty fuel tank gets detached. Now as the first stage fuel is used, so what will happen? It will get detached, and as it will get detached, so naturally its weight will be reduced, and hence uh, in this case, and then that detached part, it will fall into the sea or an unpopulated land. Okay, so as the fuel in the first stage is exhausted, the engine in the second stage will then again ignited. Okay, so however, the weight of the launch vehicle is now less than what it was earlier, and hence it can remove with higher velocity. So here in this case, thus it saves the fuel consumption also, and it is beneficial to use the multiple satellite launch vehicle. Then comes solve the following questions, semi 5. Now here in this case, the first question is, an iron ball of mass 3 kg is released from a height of 125 meters and falls freely to the ground, assuming that the value of G is 10 meter per second square. Okay, then we have to calculate the time required to reach the ground, the velocity of ball on reaching the ground, the height of the ball at half the time it takes to reach the ground. So here in this case, now the given is, mass is given to you, that is 3 kg. Distance traveled by the ball is also given, that is S equal to 125 meters. Then initial velocity of the ball is given to you, that is U equals to 0. Now students, as we know that here, whenever any object it falls freely, So what will happen? Its initial velocity will be 0 because it is going towards the gravitational force of the earth. Okay. From a height, when any object it falls, always remember the initial velocity will be zero. Why? Because you don't have to apply any force to make it fall towards the ground, because the earth's gravity is attracting that particular object. So hence it will fall freely. It will fall freely, or it will fall alone with the gravitational force. So here in this case, the initial velocity will be 0, and the acceleration, that is a, you can also call it as a small g, it is given 10 meter per second square. So here first will be Newton's second equation of motion. It gives S equal to ut plus half at square. Okay. Then now this is the formula according to the Newton's second law of motion. S equal to ut plus half at square. So you can see for distance is given to you, that is 125 meters. Then initial velocity is 0 is given. Time, now here t is not given, but as initial velocity is 0, so the whole term will become 0 only. Then plus half into a. Now acceleration is given 10, and t square equal to, we have to find the t. Here we have to find the time, because first of all they asked to find the time required to reach the ground. So here t we will find out. So here in this case, you can see now, here on the right hand side 5t square will be there, on the left hand side 125. So that 5 will shift towards the left hand side, and hence 125 will be divided by 5, and the answer will be 25. Now as t square is there, as you know that whenever the square is present to any particular, if on the left hand side square is present, then when it will shift on the right hand side, it will become square root. So in that case, here square root of 25 will be 5. So here in this case, the time will be the 5 seconds. So the ball takes 5 seconds to reach the ground here. Then the next one is velocity of ball on reaching the ground. Now what will be the velocity of ball? So here in this case, the velocity of the ball on reaching the ground, here we will apply the first equation of motion of Newton, v equals to u plus at. In the first one, we, for finding the time, we applied the second law, and here we will, for finding the velocity, we will apply the first law. Now here v equals to u plus at is there. Now u, that is the initial velocity, is 0, and acceleration is 10. Here in this case, acceleration is given 10. Now when it is multiplied by time, that is t equals to 5 seconds, so which we had already found in the first one. So 10 multiplied by 5, so here the answer will be 50 meter per second. The velocity of ball on reaching the ground is 50 meter per second. So this is the velocity, how we will find it. Then comes the height of the ball. Okay, at half the time it takes to reach the ground. Okay, when half the time of t. Now half means, now here time we we already found it as 5 seconds. Now whenever now here we want half time of it, half time of 5 seconds. So here 5 will divided by 2, and the answer will be 2.5 seconds. Now the ball's height at this time, it is s. Okay, so according to the Newton's again second equation, second law of motion, so here again the same formula which we already used for finding the time, s equals to ut plus half at square. Now here s equals to, for as u is 0, the whole term will be the 0, then half acceleration is given to you 10 multiplied by time is given 2.5 whole square, and the answer will be 30. Will be minus with 31.25. That is the whatever the displacement is given to you. Okay, whatever the height is given to you, s is given to you, with that you will minus this half time distance, that is 31.25. So hence we will get the answer, that is 93.75 meters. So this is how you have to solve this problem. Now next question is an electronic configuration of element is 282. Now what the element is having the electronic configuration 282. Now which element is present which is having the this particular electronic configuration? Now for that you have to know the atomic number. So here in this case 2 plus 8 plus 2, it will come 12. Okay, so then you have to write the name of that particular element. So the element is magnesium, which is having the atomic number 12. So here the question is asked based on the electronic configuration given, what is the atomic number of this element? So here add the electronic configuration which is given to you, 2 plus 8 10, 10 plus 2 12. So here atomic number will be 12 and the name of the element will be magnesium. Now what is the group of this element? Okay, in which group it is present? It is present in the second group, that is alkaline earth metals. Then to which period does this element belong? Now this element belongs to the third period. Next comes identify the following chemical reaction as endothermic or exothermic. This is the question. Now students, whenever any reaction appears and whatever product we get, okay, if that particular reaction it gets heated, that means the heat is released. Okay, but if any of the reaction, if it is taken place and it absorbs the heat, in that case what will happen? In that case the heat is absorbed and you will not get heat in the product. That means whenever you get heat in the product, that reaction is an exothermic reaction. And whenever you will not get heat in the product, okay, that means in that case reactant only absorb the heat, that will be the endothermic. Exo means releasing the heat, thermic means heat, exo means exit, and endo means absorbing, thermic means heat, absorbing the heat. So now from this particular three reactions you can definitely identify which one is having the endothermic reaction and which one is having the exothermic reaction. So HCl when reacts with NaOH, it will give NaCl and H2 and heat will be released. So here heat is released, that means this reaction is an exothermic reaction. Then comes KClO3, it decomposes to KCl and O2. Now here in this case, no, in the product side, heat is not given to you. So as heat is not given, that means here in the reactant only it absorbs the heat. And as it absorbs the heat and we are not getting heat in the product side, that means it is an endothermic reaction, it absorbs the heat. Then comes CaO plus H2O, gives CaOH by 2 and heat. Now here also heat is released. So as heat is released, so hence the reaction is an exothermic reaction. Okay, so here in this case on the product side we are getting the heat, then that particular reaction is an exothermic. If in the product side we are not getting the heat, that means in that particular reaction heat is absorbed by the reactant and hence that will be the endothermic reaction. So the first one is the exothermic, second one is the endothermic, and third one is the exothermic reaction. Okay, now one proof is given to you. If the angle of incident and angle of emergence of a light ray falling on a glass slab are I and E respectively. Okay, then here prove that I will be equal to E, that is angle of incident is equal to the angle of emergence. Now here the diagram is drawn. Refraction of light passing through the glass slab. Angle of incident is given, that particular angle we found with the help of the normal. Okay, then from rarer to denser and denser to rarer, when it goes light rays, it changes its direction, and hence this particular is known as the refracted ray. Again, from when denser to rarer it comes out, angle of emergence you can see from the normal. So now we will prove it that I is equal to E. Here you can see. Now, in the above figure, I is the angle of incident, R is the angle of refraction, E is the angle of emergence. So at point N, okay, N is the normal. Using Snell's law, now here you can see here glass and air equal to, that is the refractive index, is equal to sine I upon sine R. This will be our first equation. Okay, then comes at point M. Now M you can see from angle of emergence, one straight line is drawn, that is known as M, using the Snell's law. So here refractive index of air to glass equal to sine R upon sine E. R is the refracted ray and E is the emergence. So, but refractive index of glass to air equal to 1 upon refractive index of air to glass. So here in this case, what we will do, we will put the values from 1 and 2 as it is, which is given. So sine I upon sine R equal to 1 upon sine R upon sine E. Then here the answer will be as 1 upon sine R upon sine E is given on the right hand side. So we will that shift that sine E to the upper side, and hence therefore the product will be sine I upon sine R equals to sine E upon sine R. Now here in this case, sine R, they will get cancelled. Both are on the division side. So it will get cancelled, and hence whatever will remain, sine I will be equal to sine E. Hence angle of incident is equal to angle of emergence, and hence for the reflection of light through a glass slab, angle of incident is equal to the angle of emergence. That is I is equal to E. Now this one diagram is given to you in your question paper, and what you have to do is, from the following diagram, identify their use. You have to identify the use of this particular diagram. Now from diagram, you will get an idea what it is. This is the diagram of an electric motor. Okay, so we know that how its working takes place. How this is the systematic representation of an electric motor. So here in this case, the basic design of the electric motor, as we have seen, consists of a rectangular wire, two strong magnets, and a battery. So if we are asked that are the two main components of an electric motor, then the answer would be the magnets to produce the magnetic field and the coil to exhibit the effect of magnetic field. Now on the basis of that, what are the uses? So that uses of electric motors are, they are used in electric fans, they are used in washing machines, they are used in water pumps. So all these machinery, they contains the whatever the electric motors where it is required, these different kind of uses are there in these different kinds of machinery. So in machines, on the basis of the effects of a magnetic field, here the uses of electric motors are given. Okay, next question is, a metal as A metals electronic configuration is 281 and B metals electronic configuration is 2882. Then which metal is more active? Write the reaction of metal A with HCl. So first of all, the configuration of metal A is given 281. Now calculate it. 2 plus 8, 10, 10 plus 1, 11. So the element having the atomic number 11 is sodium. So hence the metal A of electronic configuration 281 is sodium. Then comes the metal B, which is having the configuration 2882. That means 2 plus 8 comes 10, 10 plus 8, 18, 18 plus 2, 20. So in this case, the element is of calcium having the atomic number 20. So the metal A. Now the next question it is asked that which metal is more reactive, whether sodium is reactive or calcium is reactive. Now the answer is metal A, that is the sodium, is more reactive than that of calcium. Why? Because it has to lose only one electron from the outermost shell, while metal B has to lose two electrons to achieve a stable electronic configuration. So as metal A is more reactive, okay, as you know that sodium is highly reactive because it has to lose only one electron. As it loses one electron, it gets stability. But calcium has to lose two electrons to get the stability. So here in this case, A metal, that is the sodium metal, is more reactive than that of the calcium. Then comes sodium metals react with hydrochloric acid to produce salt and hydrogen gas. Okay. So as the reaction is asked, the reaction between a metal A, that is sodium, with HCl. So here in this case, sodium metal, it reacts with HCl to produce salt and hydrogen gas. Now how? Sodium metal reacts with hydrochloric acid, which produces hydrogen gas and sodium chloride. So here you can see H will be replaced by the sodium and the product will be NaCl. Okay, that is sodium chloride, and H2 gas will be released. So the reactants are sodium metal and hydrochloric acid, and the product is sodium chloride and hydrogen gas. Likewise, the reaction will appear. Okay. Then it is given to you, complete the following table. True. Now here it is given, you can see in your question paper, IRNSS. Now this is the name, then which satellite it is. Okay. That is the name of the Indian satellite series and launch vehicles is given on the first column. After that, type of satellite, that is weather satellite. That means here you have to write the type of satellite. And the third one, also observation. Here in this case, function is given to you. What kind of function it is? Or you can write it as here in this case, type of satellite and function of satellite, likewise, and the names of the Indian satellite. So you have to write in that manner. So here in this case, the answer will be, first one is the IRNSS. It is a navigational satellite. The type of satellite is navigational satellite, and the function is to fix the location in terms of precise latitude and longitude. So here, first of all, the name of Indian satellite series and their launch vehicles. Next one is the type of satellite, and the third one is the function of satellite. So IRNSS, this is the name of satellite. Then the type of satellite is navigational satellite, and hence the function is to fix the location in terms of the precise latitude and longitude. Then again, INSAT, INSAT. Now this is the type, this is the name of the satellite series. Then the type of satellite is weather, study and predict, weather, study and predict. Then here in this case, function is weather satellite. It is a weather satellite. Then comes IRS. So this is also another series name. So here Earth, this is an Earth observation satellite, and hence the function will be Earth's observation. So likewise, you have to fill the here columns. Okay. Now here students, the next question is, identify the process given in the following paragraph and draw the nominated figure. The electrolysis of molten mixture of alumina having the melting point greater than 2000 degrees centigrade is done in a steel tank. The tank has a graphite lining on the inner side. Then here in this case, the work of a cathode, a set of graphite rods dipped in the molten electrolyte works as anode. So cryolite and fluorspar are added in the mixture to lower its melting point up to 1000. So here you have to solve this. Here what you have to do, draw the figure. You have to draw one figure here, and also little bit explain also you have to do. So here this is the figure. As you can see, a steel tank is given to you. In that dipped anode graphite rods, and it is considered as anode. Then graphite lining is given to you in the cathode side. Then molten alumina is present on the lower side, and one outlet for the molten alumina is given. Then the solution or the mixture of alumina, cryolite and fluorspar, it is given. So here in this way, one battery is also connected, plus and minus sign is given to you having the potential difference. So likewise diagram you have to draw. Okay, so again I am repeating, one steel tank having an outlet. Below there is a molten alumina, and on the upper side the layer of mixture of alumina, cryolite and fluorspar is present. Then graphite rods are present, and it is considered as anode, and graphite lining is present, which is considered as cathode. Now here the electrolysis of pure alumina, it faces some difficulties. Okay, so the pure alumina is a bad conductor of electricity. The fusion of temperature of pure alumina is about 2000 degrees centigrade, and at this temperature, when electrolysis is carried out on the fused mass, the metal found vaporizes, as the boiling point of alumina is 1800 degrees centigrade. So these difficulties, they are overcome by using a mixture containing alumina, that is Na3Al(F6), and fluorspar, that is CaF2. But the addition of cryolite do not minimize the anode effect and do not remove the impurities from the alumina. Okay. Now solve the following questions. Any one you have to solve. Okay. Now first one is, one passage is given to you. You have to read the passage and answer the question. Now if heat is exchanged between a hot and cold object, the temperature of the cold object goes on increasing due to the gain of energy, and the temperature of the hot object, it goes on decreasing due to loss of energy. Now the change in the temperature, it continues till the temperature of both the object attain the same value. So now in this process, the cold object gains the heat energy and the hot object loses the heat energy. If the system of the object, of both the object, isolated from the environment by keeping it inside a heat resistant box, then no energy can flow from inside the box or come into the box. So this passage is given to you. So now reading this passage, 4 questions are given to you. First one is, heat transfer from where to where? Okay, so the answer is, heat is transferred from hot object to a cold object. Okay, as we know that if suppose for example any heating object is present and one cold object is there, if you put that cold object over the hot object, that cold object will also gets heated. So that means the heat is transferred. Then heat is transferred from an object at higher temperature to an object at lower temperature. Okay, so here in this case, the second question is, which principle do we learn about from this process? Here in this case, heat is transferred from an object at higher temperature to an object at lower temperature. This principle we study from this process. Third question is, how will you state the principle briefly? So the answer will be, if a system of two objects is isolated from the surrounding, heat energy is lost by the hot object, okay, equal to heat energy gained by the cold object. So this is the principle which we can study. And the fourth one is, which property of the substance is measured using the principle? Which property here? The specific heat capacity of a substance is measured by using this principle. Okay. Okay, next one. Observe the following figure and write the answer in the question. asked. Now here, this is the second question. Either you have to solve the passage one or you have to solve this one. Now one diagram is given to you. And here, with the help of this diagram, what you have to do is, structure is given to you. The structure of the magnifying glass shown in the adjacent figure is found in which microscope? Now, as you know that whenever these two lenses are present, okay, so this is the example for a compound microscope. Okay, then you have to give the figure proper names. Now here proper names are not given, so here with this figure we can write the proper names. Here the objective lens is there and eyepiece is given. Two lenses are there. FO is given as a principal focus of the objective lens. FA is given as a principal focus of the eyepiece. U, that is the distance between the object and the objective lens, PQ. And here PQ is the object and P dash Q dash is the final image. Now here in this case you can see how the images are formed and name is given. So this question, which question gave the figure proper names, that is question number B is answered. Then comes how this work to be carried out. Now how it's working is. Now here the object to be observed is illuminated and placed in front of the objective lens. So slightly beyond the focal length of the objective lens, its real and inverted enlarged image is formed by the objective lens on the other side. So the intermediate image lies within the focal length of the eyepiece. So it serves as an object for the eyepiece. The eyepiece works as a simple microscope. So the final image is virtual, highly enlarged and inverted with respect to the original object. So it can be formed at the minimum distance of the distant vision from the eyepiece. So the final image which is observed by keeping the eye close to the eyepiece. Okay, so this will be the answer. So here, as you know that in a simple microscope, okay, to observe the simple microscope, it is used to observe the small size object. But minute objects like blood cells, cells of plants, animals, and minute living beings like bacteria, they cannot be magnified sufficiently by using the simple microscope. So in that case, we are using the compound microscope. Okay. So the compound microscope are used to study these objects. So a compound microscope is made up of two convex lenses. So here you can see two convex lenses are present, objective and eyepiece. Okay. So the objective has smaller cross section and the smaller focal length. The eyepiece has the bigger cross section. Its focal length is also larger than that of the objective. So higher the magnification can be obtained by the combined effect of the two lenses. So here the magnification, it occurs in two stages. The image which is formed by the first lens act as the object for the second lens. The axes of both the lenses are along the same line and the lenses are fitted inside a metal tube in such a way that the distance between can be changed. So this is for the working of the how it works, compound microscope. Next question is where it is used. Now uses of compound microscope. Now it is observed that blood corpuscles, then plants and animal cells, microorganisms like bacteria, etc., they can be observed with the help of a compound microscope. Then it is used in a pathological laboratory also to observe the blood and urine, etc. Then it is a part of traveling microscope used for measurement of very small distances also. So these are all the uses of a compound microscope. Next question is how to increase its performance, how we can increase its performance. Now the resolution of a specimen viewed through a microscope can be increased by changing the objective lens. So the objective lenses are the lenses that protrude downwards over the specimen and then grasps the nose piece. Now here likewise you can, what you can do, you can increase its performance. Okay, so this is the way of increasing the performance of a compound microscope. Okay, so this was your question paper. It was simple. So if anybody has any doubt, they can ask. If you want to explain something, then that also I can explain to you again. So any doubt is there, you can raise your hands. Any doubt? Yes, Ashwini Gupta. Yes, come on. Ashwini Gupta and Anisha Yadav. Yes, Ashwini. Come on, ask me. What doubt do you have? In which question? Ashwini? Unmute yourself. Unmute yourself and ask the question.
मिस अगर हम लोग ने पूरे क्वेश्चंस ऑप्शंस के साथ भी अटेम्प्ट कर लिया तो उसके भी मार्क्स रहेंगे क्या?
देखो जितना आपको मार्क्स दिया है उतना ही आपको मार्क्स मिलेगा. अगर फॉर एग्जाम्पल इफ गिव रीजंस आर देयर, यू हैव टू सॉल्व एनी 2 गिव रीजंस. Okay, 3 give reasons are given to you and you have to solve any 2. Now there the marks are 4 marks. That means each give reason is having 2 marks. So 2 you have already solved and third one you want to solve. So whatever the first 2 will be there, okay, or whatever the give reason which is having the more mark, that only marks will be considered. All the options there is no need to solve. Okay, only solve the whatever is given, that is optional, you have to solve only. That is if from 3 2 are asked, then solve 2 only, because you are only get the marks of 2 only, you will not get the marks for 3. Okay, so solve if don't solve all the that means if 2 if you have to solve 2, then solve 2 only, don't solve third one because you are not going to get the marks for it. Whatever the good one you know, just answer it. जो आपको अच्छे से आता है वही लिखो. ठीक है, अगर 3 में से 2 आपको अच्छे आते हैं वही लिखो, क्योंकि मार्क्स उसके ही मिलेंगे, आपको ऐसे एक्स्ट्रा मार्क्स नहीं दिया जाएगा. So there is no need to solve. Any doubt? Next, I think Anisha was there. After Ashwini, Anisha, just unmute yourself. Anisha, unmute. Yes, Anisha, unmute yourself. Can you hear me? आप सुन पा रहे हो ना मुझे? Am I audible? Ashwini Gupta, Anisha and Swati, just unmute yourself and ask me the question. Can you hear me what I am talking? Unmute yourself, beta. Yes, those who have doubt, just unmute and ask me the questions. Okay, in short, we will revise then whatever we have studied. Okay. So as previously I was not audible. So here all questions are compulsory, whatever given to you. So draw a neat and labeled diagram whenever it is required. Okay. In each of the main questions, main questions you have to write on separate pages. The right hand side numbers indicate the marks. Now, when you are writing the question number, you are writing on the left hand side, but on the right hand side, whatever numbers will be there, that will all be considered as marks. Okay. Then for each multiple choice question, the assignment will be made on the first attempt only. Then for each multiple answer question, write only the option number. Okay, here you have to write only the option number. So likewise, question number first A, Roman 1 answer is A, and then write the option. Okay, so likewise you have to write the multiple choice question. This will be asked for 5 marks. After that, solve the following questions for 5 marks, 1 marks each. In that, true and false can be there, match the columns can be there, reaction will be there, and you have to write the name of that particular reaction, odd man out. So likewise, questions can be asked. Then after that, you can see here, answer the following questions based on the following figure. So here, diagram is given to you and you have to write the which type of visual impairment is there. Okay, figure will be given, on the basis of that questions will be asked. Passage will be given, on the basis of questions can be asked. Okay, so here figure is there, on the basis of that questions can be asked to you. Here also, then one particular question regarding benzene formation. So here likewise different types of compounds are also given in your textbooks. You can learn that also. Then give scientific reasons. Scientific reasons are asked. So 3 scientific reasons, among them any 2 you have to solve. Then solve the following questions. Any 3 you have to solve among the 5 questions here. So either problems can be there, diagrams can be there. On the basis of diagrams, question can also be asked. Okay, so here in this case it all contains 2 marks each. Then IUPAC names, common names, that can also be asked here. Then question like why it is beneficial to use a satellite launch vehicles made of more than one stage. Okay, then solve any 7 questions will be given to you. You have to solve any 5. In that, problems, then electronic configuration will be given to you and you have to write the atomic number and the name of that particular element. After that, in which group it is present, in which period it is present. Okay, then questions can be how many valence electrons are present. So likewise, questions are asked. Here reactions are given to you. Which reaction is endothermic, which reactions are exothermic. As I already told you that the reaction where the heat is released, that is known as the exothermic reaction, and the reaction where heat is absorbed, that is the endothermic reaction. Endo means they are absorbing and thermic means heat. Exo means exit of heat. So here, if in the product side, if you are getting heat, then that is the exothermic reaction. If you are not getting the heat on the product side, that means here in this case, reactant has absorbed it and hence this reaction is an endothermic reaction. Now here you have to prove I is equal to E, that is angle of incidence is equal to angle of emergence. Again, figure are given to you. According to that, you have to write the answer of the question. Then here in this case, you can see metals are given, electronic configuration are given to you. Then you have to identify the metal. Then you have to by adding the number of whatever the number is given in the electronic configuration, you can find it out the atomic number, and from atomic number you can find the element. Okay, then which one is more reactive, and after that when it reacts with HCl, what we will get. Then this is one table. Tables are also asked. So here, likewise, name of the Indian series of these satellites are given to you. After that, you have to write the type of satellite and the function of satellite. So like this condition are given to you, you have to draw the figure and little bit you have to explain it. Then passages are given to you. Likewise, how the heat is transferred from where to where. So from passage, it is clear that heat is transferred from a hot object to a cold object. Okay. Then which principle do we learn about from this process? Now heat is transferred from an object at high temperature to an object at a lower temperature. Then comes, how will you state the principle briefly? So if a system of two objects is isolated from the surrounding, heat energy lost by the hot object, that is equal to the heat energy which is gained by the cold object. This is the principle. Okay. Then which property of the substance is measured? Now here in this case, the principle is used to measure the specific heat capacity of a substance. Okay. Then comes, this figure is given to you. Now, so whenever, as I already told you, if single lens is there, then that is a simple microscope. But when double lenses are there, convex lenses, then that is a compound microscope. Now here, simple microscope, they are used to observe small sized object, whereas the compound microscope, they are used to observe the minute objects like blood vessels, cells of the plants, animals, minute living beings like bacteria. Okay. Then a compound microscope is made up of two convex lenses. One is the objective and other is the eyepiece. So here in this case, as you can see this figure, the objective has a smaller cross section and the smaller focal length. The eyepiece has a bigger cross section. Its focal length is also larger than that of the objective. So higher magnification can be obtained. So here, by combined effect of the two lenses. So here the magnification occurs in two stages as two lenses are present. So the image formed by the first lens, it acts as an object for the second lens. So the axis of both the lenses are along the same. So the lenses are fitted inside a metallic tube in such a way that the distance between can be changed. Here uses, as I already told you, it is used to observe the blood corpuscles, plants and animal cell, microorganisms like bacteria, pathological laboratory. Then in pathological laboratory also it is used. Then for traveling, it is a part of a traveling microscope used for measurement of very small distances. Then comes how to increase its performance. So the resolution of a specimen viewed through a microscope can be increased by changing the objective lens. The objective lenses are the lenses that protrude downward over the specimen and grasp the nose piece. So this is how you can increase the performance of this compound microscope. Then yes, if anybody has any doubt, please to ask. Yes, any doubt? If you have any doubt, ask. Unmute yourself and ask the doubt.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. It's done. If anybody is having doubt, just ask.
Please, student, ask. I think no one have doubts. Wind up the lecture.
Okay, ma'am.